Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Hiya Toys Alien vs. Predator Requiem PREDALIEN and the battle damage version of the PREDALIEN. And everybody knows that AVP Requiem is easily the best movie to ever be made. No, obviously it's not a very good movie, but I do know a lot of people like the design of the PREDALIEN. Some people hate it, but either way we're reviewing it and you can decide for yourself if you want to buy it. You don't have to like or dislike the same things as people on the internet, believe it or not. But there are some really cool things going on here, some missteps perhaps, but there's enough to talk about. So let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, now this guy stands, we're going to leave him slightly hunched, slightly bent knees because it has the digitigrade legs, more or less. So slight hunch. This guy stands roughly, let's say 5.5 inches. That's going to make him pretty close to, we'll say, a little shy of 14 centimeters, if I can speak. We'll do a quick height comparison against the best Marvel Legends figure ever, maybe the best figure of all time. So there he is. Pretty good size on this guy, and of course this guy is almost the exact same mold. There are a few slight differences, we'll talk about those in a minute, but first we have to do a question of the day. Last time I did a question of the day, I mentioned that AVP was my favorite Predator movie because of the Predator designs, and of course the internet, not to disappoint, a bunch of people had to tell me how awful of a person I was for liking such a bad movie that was PG-13 and not a good movie. I'm well aware it's not a good movie. I don't think any of these movies are, except for maybe the first one, maybe Predators. But the Predator design in AVP was wonderful, and if anybody wants to argue with that, you can, but you're probably going to be wrong. Okay, so question of the day. How do you feel about the PREDALIEN? I personally don't like it. It's way too much upper body, not enough lower body. The balance is just weird. I think he needed to be bulkier if he was going to be more Predator-based. Okay, and then the second question of the day, do you guys, for any action figure line, it doesn't have to be this one, do you guys ever use display stands? I know some of you do and some of you don't, but I want to see how that kind of shakes out with a bunch of people answering. I use them never if I can avoid it at all, other than for flight poses or things like that. I hate having stands under my figures. It takes away the illusion that they are the thing that they are. Okay, on to the review. Now, we're going to just start with the quick differences. Other than the neon green paint to simulate blood, which the battle damage one has, the only difference that I can see, he doesn't even have any actual scratches or anything as far as I can tell, the only difference I can see is the jaw. This guy's Predator jaws are closed, and this guy's are open. He has the same thingy inside his mouth. The inner mouth is still in there, and he still has the same skull inside his head. They both have them. This one's a little harder to see, actually. Maybe it's just painted better on this guy. But that's the only difference, is the neon green paint and the closed mouth. So we don't need to look at this anymore. I do like that they put the green paint on the inner mouth as well. So that's his battle damage blood and his closed mouth. And that's it. Okay, so we're going to set him aside. They are the same otherwise, including accessories. So let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. You already saw the differences. That guy's were basically all aesthetic, and they are good. Well done. Neon green. Cool. Alright, so this thing has really cool paint. I think they did a really good job. You can see this nice shading from the tan to brown to black with the little speckles throughout. Not to mention the sculpt work. Hiya does an incredible amount of detail for the scale they're doing. You can see the clear carapace up here with the black dots. The skull inside is harder to see on this figure, and it's not just the studio lighting. I'm not sure what the deal is. Maybe a little bit too much black spray or something. This one, it stands out a lot. You can really see that skull in there. Either way, it's pretty well done. You can see the teeth are nice and clean. The side mouths, the jaw thingies, the Predator jaws, nicely speckled. All the detail work is there. The inner mouth is nicely detailed. How close this jaw does close, so I'll show you that later. All the nice little sculpt work is in there throughout. The whole thing is just really well done. And again, if you want to see scale, I know they look like big figures because of the detail. It's quite small. These figures cost the same price, by the way. Actually, no. This one, I think these are 20 bucks. I'm not sure. You guys know they send me all these as review samples because I don't collect them. I think these guys are 20 to 25 bucks. This guy's like almost 30. Oh, man. Oh, Hasbro, what have you done? What have you become? Alright, so lots more detail in here. Just tons more paint work, shading, detail work, speckles, all the good stuff. Sculpted, painted, everything that you want is in there. Very nicely done. The tail speckling and detailing throughout. So much effort went into these guys. They look wonderful. I'm going to give these guys a 9 out of 10. You could go even higher, like 9.5 out of 10 for the aesthetic. They look wonderful. As far as accessories go, we have alternate hands. We have the two wide open hands that come on them in the package, two slightly clenchy hands. That's it for real accessories. Then we get the display stand and the little clippy things. Both figures get the same set of accessories. I mean, I don't know what else you would really need other than like another body part or something for it to have ripped off, or you know, something like that, or like little alien baby layers. What are they called? Face huggers? Not baby layers. That sounds terrible. You know, because they lay the eggs in the human, which turns into a baby. That's okay. Never mind. So accessory-wise, 6 out of 10. There's nothing special here. It could be more, but not super necessary. Okay, for articulation, I should never have said baby layers, but whatever. Anyway, this guy has little nubbins on his back. I just want to mention those. They're on ball pegs. His little tubers, his exhaust pipes, if you will, those are all articulated. That's cool. The tail is bendy, just in case I forget. It's pretty well done. Like it's not cracking the paint or anything like that. And you get your bend all the way up to right here, basically right at the very tip. So they did a really good job, and it's so well detailed. Man, these are impressive, and I hate the PREDALIEN design, but they did a really good job on these figures. So articulation, we have what seems like a ball peg, honestly. Maybe a double. The head can go forward and back a little bit. It leans side to side a little bit, and of course it rotates, so that's pretty good. The inner jaw, which is extra long for this guy, does go back, and you can close it up, and that works just fine. No issues there. I should zoom in a little bit on the smaller figure. Shoulders, all the way out to the side, no problem. You're gonna get your full rotation. Uh-oh, what are we stuck on? Something's stuck. What happened? Oh, it was just binding a little bit. So you get your full rotation other than where the shoulder tuber is, so that's fine. No bicep swivel here. You do get it in the elbow. They did these elbows basically the way NECA does, which is a double hinge that pegs into the long bones. So it'll swivel here, and you get your double jointed elbow. It doesn't have the best range in the world, but it's definitely enough. So that's pretty good. I will say I think they went a little heavy on the black shading on the top of the hands, but it's not a huge deal. Doesn't look awful. So that's okay. Then the wrists are just on little tiny ball pegs. Nothing special there. Torso is on a ball peg. Pretty limited. It leans forward and back some, side to side some. Just a little bit of rotation, not much. They fell victim to the hinge ball peg craze, which is just not a good design for the hips. So you have the drop down hinge in there, which is just not a good thing. Theirs isn't bad. It's not super loose or anything, but it just doesn't need to be there. It really provides nothing. That main ball peg gets the leg all the way up. It goes out to the side some, and out to the side this way some too. You get your thigh swivel out of it. Using that hinge doesn't afford really any better range, not in any significant way, so it's really unnecessary. It's in there. It's not a bad attempt at doing it, but there's really no good version of that hinge for anything that doesn't absolutely need it, like a mecha or something like that. But at least it doesn't really harm the figure in this case, so that's alright. Double jointed knees give you decent enough range. Nothing crazy, but that's fine. And then the ankles on this guy are just your standard hinge. Pretty good range, a little bit looser than I would like, and the swivel is at an awkward angle, so that's not really going to be helpful in posing. So there's some limitations there, but given the tail to support him, and he does come with a little display stand, you shouldn't really have any trouble standing this guy. It is difficult though, because the legs want to go out to the side some to be in like a dramatic pose. Not having any ankle rocker in there does limit posability. You're going to want to keep his legs fairly close together, I would say, to keep those feet flat. But otherwise, it's fine. Articulation-wise, I'll give it a 7. There's nothing incredible, but there's nothing wrong with it. It should be enough to get you where you need to go. And at this scale, I think it's perfectly fine. Like, I know at this size, he's starting to creep up to Marvel Legends size almost, but still significantly smaller. So I'm thoroughly pleased with these guys. Like, I wish I liked the PREDALIENs more, because these figures are pretty dang solid. If you're into this line or into PREDALIENs or just weird alien monster things, these ones are awesome. These are some of the best figures he has put out. Maybe because they're bigger, but they have loads of detail, loads of paintwork, loads of sculpt work. The articulation is sufficient. Really, the only thing I'm missing is the ankle rocker, but these are solid figures. So I'm going to give each one of these, I mean, it's the same rating for either one, so I'll just do one rating. I'm going to give these guys an overall 9 out of 10. The ankle rocker would be better, and maybe another accessory or something, but actually, you know, I'm thinking since these are bigger, they might cost more than 25 bucks. I don't know. I'll look it up and I'll post it in the video. But either way, these guys are awesome. I know Hiya doesn't overprice, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'll correct it and I'll put a note if there's something crazy about the price. But yeah, these guys are really cool. I like them a whole bunch, and I couldn't care less about this design, so I definitely recommend it, guys. There it is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.